Thank you and welcome to the show for today. You're watching Perspectives and I am host Alana McLaughlin. This morning on the show I have three individuals of Top Flight, the brand, here to discuss their backgrounds, their educations, their early adolescent experiences, and ultimately the impact that they seek to leave on Nashville through their individual artistry and through their shared collaborative efforts. And guys, I want to thank you all this morning for just joining me, for allowing me the opportunity to just learn a little bit about y'all. And Abu, I want to start with you. Introduce yourself. Tell me your name, your stage name, kind of where you're from and what childhood looked like for you.
For sure. So my name is Jeremiah Elston. I am from Nashville, Tennessee. I go by AbuDaDon. And you know, basically, music has always been in my life, you know what I'm saying? Like through church, my mom got me playing alto sax when I was younger, so music has always been a forefront, you know. Music got you hyped when, you know, playing football, playing basketball, baseball, so music has always been there. I didn't really think I would do anything music-wise at that young age, but, you know, that was kind of like that ground for me.
Kind of that framework for it.
That helped build everything up.
And Lauren, that same thing, kind of those baby years.
Yes, so growing up, well, first of all, I'm Lauren Jackson. That's my full name, from Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised. And growing up, starting in music, my mom loves to tell the story about how I didn't want to be in the choir when I was in elementary school. I wanted to play video games instead because I said that I won't have time to go to choir practice and everything, but once I got into that, I loved it. So I've been in the choir since elementary school, and music has always been with me. I have older parents and their music taste has always been diverse, so I grew up loving Outkast and Tony, so that's a little of my love for music background.
And you kind of jumped the gun. I was going to ask those early inspirations that we're going to come back to, especially that Tony. Yeah. Warren, that same thing, those baby years. Introduce yourself and kind of tell me what that early life looked like.
So I am Warren Kash, government name Warren Sawyers, and I grew up Nashville, Tennessee. I am from the kind of Brentwood, Antioch area. And how I got into music was my dad was in the band. He was in a 12 gauge Black Widow. Some locals may be familiar with that. And so how I learned was just basically watching him. I've been writing music on and off since I was about 9 years old. I performed at Glendale during lunch for 3rd and 4th grade, and so that's kind of how I got into it.
And Warren, just like I said, picking up on those early inspirations, I know you mentioned your dad being in a band. Tell me about witnessing that, kind of what that inspired within you, and just kind of tell me a little bit more about his background.
So he was in the band probably about in the 80s or so, and he would just travel to places like Turkey, and so he traveled all around the country and played in the band when he was younger, and then he got older and started to own his own business as well. And so basically I just watched him. He also did ministry with the music and everything at Lake Providence Missionary Baptist Church, so I watched him do the mixing board and everything. Just kind of learned that way. And then I went to Tennessee State University and kind of took on kind of the same thing by doing mass communications and integrated marketing communications.
Well, on the front end, I love that each of y'all have said that church kind of set that groundwork, kind of set that framework for your artistry. I think it's just especially interesting, and it's really beautiful that we all kind of come from that church background and kind of what it did for us. But Warren, I want to talk specifically about your TSU experience and kind of how that shaped you musically. I know that you were kind of in the mass comm department, but tell me about witnessing like things like the Aristocratic bands, the choir, and just tell me how that felt, what that inspired within you.
So my mom, she was in the band. She was head majorette at TSU. So when I got to TSU, that kind of inspired me to go there and attend there. And then when I went there, I just experienced everything. I pledged fraternity, and that's how I ended up meeting Abu. And so we met there and then just started developing a relationship and then started getting into music. And I'll let him kind of discuss that here in a minute. But then I graduated from there. I also got my master's at Tennessee State University. And then currently in school right now at Trevecca.
I'm in school at Trevecca too.
That's good, yeah. So education and leadership. I work with students at Haynes. I got together with them and helped them kind of talk about music. I brought Kay on, who also talked about music, who goes by Two now. And so they really enjoyed that. Also DJ and showed them how DJing works, how producing works. And so those are kind of the same things I kind of learned at TSU as well. So I just kind of took that and transferred it over and helped the youth out.
Yeah,
And
well,
so,
you're awesome, man.
Yeah,
I need
thank
to know
you.
more about you. Lauren, that same thing set up kind of when the shift from video games to that interest in music, where that came from, and that's how we're going to end this first segment.
Okay, so my mama really just like got me into the choir in elementary school, and I just loved it. I loved singing. I loved the way it made me feel, just being able to express myself in that way. So I stayed in choir up until high school, and then I was in concert choir, traveling and doing all that stuff, and I just absolutely loved it. I didn't continue on doing that in college. I actually started DJing in college, so that's what I started doing first before I became an artist. I've been a DJ for 7 years now, and I started music about 2 years ago, so that's been my journey now on the music sense.
And Abu, we're going to come right back in with you on that second segment to talk about just that early inspiration, those early experiences. And we're going to talk about how you guys' shared backgrounds and experiences have brought you all together from Memphis, from Brentwood, from Nashville, and how you guys collaboratively work together to impact Nashville. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the second segment of Perspectives, where we will return to discuss the impact of these artists and their music on Nashville. The second segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin. You are watching Perspectives. This morning on the show, I have three individuals of the Top Flight, the brand. These are three artists who work collaboratively to impact Nashville through their music, and we're discussing their backgrounds, their educations, their pivotal adolescent experiences, and ultimately that impact that they seek to leave through this music. In our first segment, we set up my guests' backgrounds. We set up kind of where they're from, early music inspirations and experiences, and we're coming right back into the second segment to continue talking about those early inspirations into current career, into the impact that they seek to leave through their work on Nashville. Abu, we're coming right back in. Tell me about just early music experiences. This can be a first performance. This can be like that first time watching a music video saying, I want to do this. But tell me where that love kind of came from.
Mine is a little different than theirs. So, like when I was younger, all I did was play sports. So that was my biggest focus. I thought I was going to be in the NFL, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the music kind of molded me because that's what helped me get in that mood. You know what I'm saying? So music was always there, but COVID came and that's when everything was on a shutdown. And so that's really when me and Warren just bonded more. You know what I'm saying? So we live close to each other. So we would literally just kick it every day. He started, you know, making beats. Him, Spiffy Boy Danny, they started making beats. And
now, Paul, I gotta interject right there, just to start making beats. And Warren, you might be able to answer this better. How do you just start making beats? I mean, like, tell me about the technology, tell me about the you know, like, because you guys think it's just so normal, like, yeah, I just started making beats. Like, from an outsider's point of view, I'm like, what? Yeah, tell me about just even being inspired to do that.
So how I explained that I wrote, I always wanted to make beats. And so what I started doing during COVID, there was nothing else to do but watch YouTube videos. So, and you have things now, and all the producers know is you create your own loops or you start using loops. So I started using loops. That's how I originally started making beats through Arcade, Splice. Those are really popular kind of tools that you use to just put beats together and arrange them. And so I just kind of figured out by just watching YouTube videos.
And this is just something you just woke up and just said, like, oh, I'm just gonna start making beats.
Well, yeah, I had picked it up on and off, but I got really focused during COVID, like really focused and just every day just started working on it until I got it right.
And I just had to know. I'm like, how do you just start making beats? But tell me, y'all are working together with Spiffy Boy Danny. We got to shout him out too. But tell me, take me right back to that COVID era and y'all working together.
Man, yeah, like I said, we just were starting to think about, hey man, what can we do? Like we have, everything is closed. We can't go to happy hour no more. we can't just, you know, so it's like, what can we do? And so that's when, like I said, they linked up and started making beats, and I'm just like, what am I gonna do here? Like, what are we gonna do? So Warren ended up having a in-home studio, and so I was like, man, let me just hop on the track real quick. And so that's really what started everything. Was literally us being bored and didn't have anything else to do. I was like, hey, let's have fun. Let's just, we don't know how long this is gonna last, so let's try something. And so we ended up making a song, having fun with it, I sent it to a couple of my friends. It's like, hey man, this is actually nice. Like, keep going. So I was like, shoot, hey, we don't know how long it's gonna last. Let's keep just making songs. And so then once I figured out that you could actually put them out and, you know, go on distro and all that stuff, and I was like, man, I didn't know the process of this. So like he said, hopped on YouTube, found a couple of things, did some research on different distributors, and then just start putting music out, and my love has grown ever since.
Now, I have a lot of questions, and I'm gonna go back and piece this together from like learning about DistroKid to actually getting everything on these digital streaming platforms.
Yeah.
But Lauren, before I pick him apart and his story apart, tell me that transition from DJing into making music. I know that you said about 2 years ago you started making that music, but what inspired it?
I don't know.
I
really just feel like I was pushed towards that. I've always written music.
Right.
So as a child, like I've always written music. Songs would just come to me, lyrics would just come to me, and melodies in my head, and I would just write it down. But I never thought to do anything with it. So it wasn't until 2 years ago that I said, you know what, let me just try. And I got into a studio and I got a beat or whatever, and I just, you know, just flowed with it, and people were telling me, hey, this actually sounds good. So I'm like, maybe this is something that I'm supposed to be doing. I still DJ, so I'm a DJ in Memphis. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and then I also am an artist as well. So I'm doing both things simultaneously. So that's an interesting journey in itself, but it's a beautiful journey, and I love doing it.
And with journeys, I have to ask, tell me about the birth of Top Flight, the brand. I think it's very interesting that all of y'all have on Top Flight, the brand chains. Yeah. I want to be Top Flight at this point. but seriously, and anybody feel free to jump in. What is Top Flight?
Yeah. So Top Flight really started in high school.
Okay.
So
where'd you go to school?
I went to Hendersonville.
Okay. Okay.
But like I said, I live in Nashville.
Right.
So all my friends are in Nashville, inner city Nashville.
Right.
So,
Pearl, Whites Creek.
yeah. So basically, what happened is it started as just a clique, just us. We Top Flight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then over the years, as people moved, go to college, you know, different ventures, it kind of dwindled down from 10 to 2, and it was just me and Spiffy. And so what we decided to do was turn into a clothing brand.
Ooh.
That didn't work. And then we kept the Top Flight name because like that was just us, that was our brand.
Right.
And so what we did was, like I said, once COVID happened, that's when we're like, hey man, we might as well bring more people that I know, more artists that are in the city but might not have the same resources, or no, let's put all of our resources together and let's try to make something bigger. And so that's how Top Flight actually started. Actually on, I think in December, like maybe 2020, I think we ended up getting on Zoom call. I think it was like 15 of us, and we just laid everything out. I was like, hey, this is the goal. What do y'all want to do? Y'all want to make it happen? Yeah, let's do it. And so ever since then, we've been rocking.
Now tell me, like, what is the goal? Is this like Wu-Tang? Is this, is this Cash Money? Like, tell me.
So we all are individuals.
Okay.
So it is a collective.
Right.
But at the same time, the goal is for someone to get out. Not one individual person, not just the group, but someone to get out. And then we can branch out from there. And so that's the biggest goal, is just to push everybody equally, and somebody's gonna pop. You know what I'm saying? You might not like my music, you might not like this person's music, you're gonna like somebody.
Right.
I'm talking, we have a plethora of things, and you know, of artists in the group that have different sounds. You're gonna like something. And so that's really what the goal is. It's just to help everyone get that, you know, that extra step forward and get everyone out. So.
And in our third and final segment, I want to talk about how you guys got convinced to get involved in this. I want to talk about the benefit of working with Top Flight, working as Top Flight, and how it's benefited your individual careers. And I want to end that segment with upcoming events. I want to talk about the ring. I want to talk about all that you guys are involved in individually and collectively in ways that Nashville can support it. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the final segment of Perspectives, where we will return to discuss the impact of these 3 artists of Top Flight, the brand, on Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to the final segment of the show for today. You are watching Perspectives, and I am host Alana McLaughlin. This morning on the show, I've had three individuals, three members of Top Flight, the brand, here to discuss their individual artistries, their backgrounds, and the impact that they seek to leave on Nashville through their work, both collectively and individually as artists. In our first two segments, we set up my guests' early lives, some of the early experiences that they had, and I encourage viewers to go back and watch those two segments in their entirety because these stories are awesome. We're coming back into this final segment talking about Top Flight, the brand in Nashville. We're talking about ways that we can connect with them and support them and the impact that they seek to leave on our community. We're coming right back in, y'all. I just asked you what Top Flight, the brand, even was. And you kind of described it as this collective that seeks to promote individual artists, that seeks to kind of almost pool resources in an effort to uplift individuals. And I love it. And I want to know how you two got involved in Top Flight, the brand. Warren, I kind of know a little bit about your background with Abu from Tennessee State University. But Lauren, especially, I want to know how you got involved from Memphis, how you got involved in this. And guys, feel free, either one of you, to just jump in. But tell me about just kind of joining this collective and its benefit.
Okay. So basically, like I said, during COVID, got with Abu, and it has really changed me because I was able to, for one, actually take music serious like I wanted to all my life and just really get a start on that. And then just be able to carry that on with helping the youth, working with artists like Lotus Music, Two Live Bree, things that I may have not done if I hadn't took music serious. So it's really helped in that kind of way.
Yeah. Lauren, would you kind of agree with Warren?
Well, my journey was different.
Yeah.
So I met Abu at UT Knox. Their homecoming, I went to UT Knox. That's where I graduated from. So I met him then, and then fast forward, I did the Ring in Nashville last year, and then I did the one in Memphis. And so it's funny because he didn't say anything to me when I was in Nashville, but he said something to me when I did the Memphis show, and he reached out and he asked me to be a part of Top Flight. And I was like, yeah, like I would love to be a part of a collective. Like that's been one of my goals, especially starting out as a new artist and trying to break through. I always wanted a team of other like-minded individuals with this journey because I know it gets lonely, especially at the top.
Especially as a woman too.
Yes, so I always wanted that. But it's funny, he thought that I lived here. So he actually asked me to come to the meeting. I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm free during the week, like I DJ. So I have my days where I DJ, and then I was like, I'm free, so I can come. So I drove down and came to their meeting, and everybody thought that I lived there, and I was like, that is so crazy. But I feel like that was for a reason, though, because had he known that I was from Memphis, he said that he wouldn't have asked me because he thought that I was living in Nashville. Wow. But that's how serious that I'm taking my journey as an artist now. And ever since then, like I've came back and, you know, came for our meetings and our events and stuff, so I have no problem doing that.
I want to know about two things you just said. One,
Okay.
I want to know about the Ring.
Okay.
I've been seeing the Ring. I know they have a 7th anniversary coming up here in town.
Yeah.
You're hosting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wasn't really familiar with the Ring prior to maybe like a month or two ago. So anybody feel free to jump in, but explain to me what the Ring, is this Texas Trill?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is like the boxing glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody tell me.
It's kind of a little background into it. It started at an actual boxing ring. So that's why it was the Ring, like versus type deal. But Trill, she went to TSU as well, so that's how I connected with Trill. And how I started was I did parties. I threw a whole bunch of parties. So I was hosting. And that's how I kind of got my connection with her.
Okay.
And then, you know, like I said, once COVID happened, we were free.
Right.
But she still had rings going on. And so me and Spiffy would travel. So I ended up actually meeting Trey Da Vinci. He's from Memphis. And we hopped on a song together at the Ring in Huntsville. So
in Alabama?
All the way in Alabama.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the ring is that's a dope platform. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And Lauren, tell me about your performances, both of them. Tell me about like getting, what was the sign-up process? I mean, how did you, give me kind of the insider look on that.
Well, I remember I had my very first performance in Memphis, and I had content from that. So Texas Trill, she actually reached out to me and asked me did I want to perform, and especially I jumped at the opportunity because I'm a fresh artist, and that's just more exposure. And I was so grateful for that opportunity because it definitely introduced me to a lot of people. If I hadn't done it, I wouldn't be here today where I am right now. Definitely a lot of great connections, and I definitely think that it's beneficial for a lot of new and upcoming artists, even artists that have been doing it for a long time. You never know who you're going to meet and the opportunities that are going to come from that. So
that's a beautiful quote. Thank you for saying that, especially to a young artist watching this right now who's saying, like, I don't know why I'm doing these club performances, or I don't know why I'm at this dive bar. Somebody there is listening. But guys, I want to take about the last part of this segment to talk about individual careers and about Top Flight. Tell me what's upcoming for you guys as individuals and as a collective. We kind of jumped the gun by talking about the ring, but tell me about hosting that, things that you have upcoming, and seriously just kind of lay out where the community can kind of find y'all, can see y'all live and support y'all.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the ring, that is coming up. I will be hosting that. Also, Top Flight as a collective, we do a show every quarter.
Okay.
So our next one is going to be on Juneteenth.
Ooh.
It's going to actually be at Official Wings on Jefferson Street. So make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at Top Flight the brand, so you can get all the updates. You can follow me as well at AbuDaDon. That's AbuDaDon for all updates as well. So.
And again, same tip, guys. Plug in social medias, upcoming events, anything you're working on, EPs, features. Just kind of give me a glimpse into current career.
Well, I just released an EP. It's called the Spring Love EP that's out now on all streaming platforms. As a new artist, I'm always trying to experiment with new sounds, so it's definitely a different sound for me on this project that I just released. You all can follow me on social media platforms at A Trip to LA. It's like taking a trip, it's all spelled out. And then I will be at the show that we're having on Juneteenth.
And Warren, kind of that same tip.
So I'm consistently uploading beats. You all can reach me on Instagram and BeatStars at Warren Kash. That's WARREN Kash, KASHH. And I want to let all the youth know that I am looking for youth to come and get in studios with us, and because I will be working on a dissertation that focuses around youth being able to do a study on how well they do in school with music environments, because that's not mentioned or talked about a lot, getting youth in studios and learning how to produce. So that's something I'm intending on working on as well.
Yes, come through Trevecca Education. I know that's right. Guys, seriously, I want you to take about this last minute to just give some good words to the youth, to give some inspirational words, and just anything that you want to share with the community that you believe could uplift them about this last minute. Wrap it up for me.
You got anything?
Just always, stay driven. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. Start now, and then get with somebody, a mentor, somebody that's been there and done it before, and just stay motivated and driven. Don't let anybody tell you no.
I agree. Yeah. And would y'all kind of agree with that? Anything
yes,
to add?
Definitely emphasis on not letting anybody tell you no. I feel like you can do anything that you set your mind to. Like, it's your life. It's your world. It's whatever you make it. You have the pen to the paper. Like, just do anything. Go for anything that you want to do. Anybody can tell you no because it's not their vision. It's not their dream. It's yours. It was given to you for a reason.
Amen.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what she was saying, just go after it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest thing is making sure that if you have a vision, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but don't look at anyone else and see what their successes is, because you don't know their background. You don't know what it took for them to get there. Mm-hmm. So just keep going, just keep pushing, and then, God's gonna do everything for you.
That's the biggest part. God will and God has. Thank you all for sharing your stories with me, and to our community, thank you for the opportunity to share one more story that impacts our beautiful city. Good morning.